Welcome children. Today we continue with chapter 5 of geography, that is natural vegetation and wildlife for standard 9th, and this is the second part of the lesson. Now all of you know that India is a tropical country and our mainland stretches from 8 degree 4 minute north to 37 degree 6 minute north. Okay, and the southernmost point in the Indian territory is the Indira Point, located in the Great Nicobar Island. Okay, while Kanyakumari is the southernmost point of India's mainland. Okay, and the northernmost point you can see is the Siachen Glacier. Okay, and the Tropic of Cancer you see divides India into two equal halves at 23.5 degree north. Okay, so lower half of India lies in the tropical region and the upper half lies in the subtropical region. Now children, all of you know the tropical region. Where is the tropical region? It lies between the two tropics. You can see Tropic of Cancer, then Equator, and Tropic of Capricorn. This region is the tropical region. Okay, although the temperate zone starts right from the tropics, okay, Tropic of Cancer, and you can see Tropic of Capricorn, but there is a thin geoclimatic zone between the Tropic of Cancer and the temperate zone is called the subtropical region. Okay, both north and south, you can see we have the subtropical region. And you are also aware of the fact that as we go away from the equator towards the poles, North Pole and South Pole, what happens? The temperature as well as the rainfall decreases. And the most important reason for this phenomena is the input of solar energy. Children, as you know that the equator receives the direct rays of the sun. You can see the direct rays of the sun falls on the equator, and as we move away from the equator, the sun's rays become slanting and slanting, isn't it? And that is the reason why temperature and rainfall is an important factor, okay, that affects the distribution of natural vegetation. More sunlight, more vegetation. Okay. So children, if we look at the total length of India from north to south is 3,214 kilometers. Okay, I mean this huge land mass, what happens? There is a huge latitudinal variation, okay, which in turn has an effect on our climate. Okay, the variation in climate varies from the warm Kerala to the cold Kashmir. It is due to this latitudinal variation extent, and it is important to understand this when we talk about the variety of natural vegetation that exists in our country. Okay. Now the following major types of vegetations are found in our country. They are tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical thorn forest and scrubs, montane forest, and mangrove forests. Now let us look into the first type of vegetation, that is tropical evergreen forests. The tropical evergreen forests are found in regions with heavy rainfall. Now you can see in the map of India where are they found in the Western Ghats, okay, Western Ghats here, Lakshadweep, okay, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, okay, then you can see upper part of Assam and in Tamil Nadu, and they are normally found in regions which have more than 200 centimeters of rainfall with short dry season. The trees here in the evergreen forest reach up to a great height, up to 60 meters and or even above. and you know there is no definite time for these trees to shed their leaves. They shed as and when they want to, depending on the season, and that is why this forest is called evergreen. The trees always remain green. So some trees shed, others remain green. So time to time some of the trees shed their leaves. It's not totally leafless. Okay, that is why it is called as evergreen forest. Children, throughout the year, the tropical evergreen forest receives maximum amount of sunlight. So as you know, then the temperature increases. Whenever the temperature increases, the rate of evaporation also increases, and high rate of evaporation leads to condensation. Okay, the clouds are formed, and then it precipitates down as rain or snow. So due to the high temperature, rate of evaporation is more, there is also lots of rainfall. So both temperature and rainfall speeds up the growth of plants, and that is why in this forest we have dense, tall and very green trees. Now since this region is warm and wet throughout the year, it has all kinds of vegetation. You can see here scrubs, creepers, short trees, tall trees, and then you can see is a competition for sunlight because the tall trees prevent the sunlight from reaching the ground. So as the sunlight reaches the forest, you can see the different multi-layered structure of trees. Can you see here? Okay. So you see, children, in this forest you have first the forest floor where the sunlight hardly reaches. Then you have the understory where we have small trees, then little taller trees which are called as canopies. They come together and then prevents the sunlight from reaching the ground, and then emergent trees which grow very, very tall. So this is the structure of the forest. Now look at the leaves in the tropical forests. How are they? They are large, long, narrow ending. Okay, and then you can see it's like a narrow ending, so that's like a drip it is called, so that the water can drip properly because it rains so much. So you see it's narrow and pointed at the end so that the water can drip. So here, children, you can see how the leaves have adapted themselves to the rain, so much of rainfall that they get. The water just drips off the leaves. So if this did not happen, what would happen to these leaves? They either would have fungus and bacteria created on them if the water doesn't drip properly. So they have adopted this narrow, large, pointed tip of leaves have developed in the tropical forests. Now some of the important trees that are found here are ebony, mahogany, rubber, cinchona, rosewood. And you can see rosewood, if when you cut it, the inside part has a reddish color. That is why it is called as rosewood. You can see here when we cut the branch or the trunk, we can see inside a reddish color, giving the color of a rose, and that is why the name is given as rosewood. The common animals found in these forests are elephant, monkey, lemur and deer. The one-horned rhinoceros are found in the jungles of Assam and West Bengal. Besides these animals, there are plenty of birds, bats, sloths, scorpions and snails are found in these jungles. So let's recap the characteristic features of the tropical evergreen forests. They are found in warm and humid areas with an annual rainfall of over 200 centimeters. The mean annual temperature is above 22 degrees centigrade, and the forests have a well stratified layer. First is the forest floor with grass, then we have scrubs and creepers, which is called as the understory, then short structured trees called the canopy, and tall variety of trees which are called as emergents. And the height of most trees reach up to 60 meters or even above. And there is no definite time for the trees to shed their leaves and flowering or bearing fruits, and that is why they remain evergreen. Throughout the year they are green. And the important trees that are found here are rosewood, mahogany, annie, ebony, etc. Now let's move ahead to the next type of vegetation, that is tropical deciduous forest. The trees in the deciduous forest shed their leaves completely once a year, so the entire forest looks leafless. Okay, this starts happening from the beginning of summer, and the trees are aware that they have to pass through this long summer season where there is going to be acute shortage of water. So the trees absorb the nutrients from the leaves, and then the leaf turns dry and finally falls down. And when they fall down, it is actually good because they will be forming manure. The tropical deciduous forests are found in maximum part of India, and they are normally found in regions receiving rainfall between 200 centimeters and 70 centimeters of rainfall. And on the basis of the availability of water, these forests are further divided into moist deciduous forest and dry deciduous forest. Let's talk about the moist deciduous forest. Moist means moisture, so that means they are found in regions having rainfall between 100 and 200 centimeters, and they are found in the foothills of the Himalayas, the Chota Nagpur Plateau, eastern coastal plains of Odisha, eastern foothills of the Western Ghats. Okay, and these trees shed their leaves during dry winter and dry summer due to lack of moisture and the soil. Okay, and these forests are victims to human activities. That means they cut down the forest for either for irrigation or for agriculture. And some of the common trees you can see are teak, sal, sisham, mawa, amla, kusum, bamboo, and sandalwood. So here on the map you can see the dotted green ones where we find the moist deciduous forest which has rainfall between 200 and 100 centimeters. So they are found, you can see here, in the northeastern regions. You can see here northeastern are the foothills of the Himalayas, the northeastern states here. Then we also see Odisha, we can see Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand. Okay, all these eastern slopes of the Western Ghats where we find these moist deciduous forests. Okay, so as I told you, these are some of the trees found in the moist deciduous forest, that is teak, sal, shisham, hurra, maua, amla, semul, bamboo, and sandalwood. Now let us see the dry deciduous forest. Dry means a region where rainfall is less, between 70 to 100 degrees centimeters of rain are considered as dry deciduous, and they are similar to the moist deciduous. Only difference is dry deciduous grows in areas of less rainfall, and the forest appears like a vast grassland with naked trees during dry season. Only grass that we see. At the ground we find solid growth of grass and climber plants, and they suffer from overgrazing, forest fires, okay, and clearance also due to agriculture activities like growing of crops. And they are found in Punjab, Haryana, parts of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, southeast of Rajasthan, basically central Deccan Plateau. Okay, and some of the common trees we see again same: teak, sal, laurel, tendu, palash, amalthus, bale, kher, and axle wood. So children, here you see where are the dry deciduous forests found. You can see in the you can see Uttar Pradesh. Okay, then we see here Punjab, Haryana, okay, and Rajasthan and parts of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so these are the places where we find the dry deciduous forest when rainfall is between 100 to 70 centimeters. Okay, and mostly these regions are cleared for cultivation and also for grazing. Now the deciduous forests are victims of human activities. The forests are cut down to grow agricultural crops. So these are the trees found in the dry deciduous forest. You can see it's teak, sal, laurel, palash, amalthus, bale, kher, and axle wood. Now in these forests the common animals found are lion, tiger, deer, and elephant. A huge variety of birds, lizards, snakes, tortoise are also found here. Moving ahead to the third type of vegetation, that is tropical thorn forest and scrubs. The thorn forest and scrubs are found in regions with less than 70 centimeters of rainfall, and the natural vegetation consists of thorny trees and bushes. And you see this type of vegetation is found in the northwestern part of our country, including the semi-arid areas of Gujarat, Rajasthan, okay, you can see Madhya Pradesh, then Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Haryana. Acacia, palms, euphorbias and cacti are the main plant species found in this thorn forest and scrubs. Now the plants that are found in this region have long roots penetrating deep into the soil to get moisture, and you see the stem is succulent. Okay, why is it so? To conserve water. Okay, and the leaves are mostly thick and small and thorny to minimize evaporation. Okay. Now the common animals that are found in this forest are rats, mice, rabbits, fox, wolf, tiger, lion, wild ass, horses and camels. Yes, we move ahead to the fourth type of vegetation, that is montane forest. Now montane means mountainous region, and the mountainous region with increase in altitude temperature decreases. And India, where are the mountains located? In North India we see the Himalayan mountains from Jammu and Kashmir to the Purvanchal mountains in the east of India, and then we see in South India also the Western Ghats, the Vindhya range and the Nilgiris. So children, here you can see on this map we have the northern mountains, that is the Himalayan range, okay, right from northwest to northeast, and in the south we have the Western Ghats, the Nilgiris, the Vindhyas, the Satpuras. Here we have the Aravalis, Maikal range. Okay, so we have mountains in the south as well as in the north. So children, you know the height of Mount Everest, it is 8,850 meters above sea level, and as you know in mountainous areas the temperature decreases with increasing altitude, leading to change in the natural vegetation. So as you go up higher in the elevation, that is in altitude, temperatures will become lower, and so we'll see a change from as we move up towards the top. We'll see a change in the vegetation also. So children, these are the Himalayan range. You have learnt it earlier. You can see the first is the Greater Himalayas, that is the Himadri, which is covered with snow, and then in between we have the Himachal, which is the Middle Himalayas, and then in the third we have the Shivalik, which is called as the Lower Himalayas. So as we move from 3 to 1, we will see the changes in the natural vegetation. As I told you, as the temperature lowers, the change in natural vegetation is seen. So let us see the changes here. The wet temperate type of forests are found between the height of 1000 to 2000 meters. You can see here in this height we see wet temperate forest, okay, and here we see evergreen broadleaf trees such as oak and chestnut. Okay, they're predominant in this region between the height of 1000 to 2000 meters. The wet temperate type of forest are found in eastern Himalayas and in the western Ghats. Now children, between 1500 and 3000 meters, so you can see between 1500 and 3000 meters we have temperate forests containing coniferous trees like pine, we have deodar and silver fir, spruce, cedars are found here. Okay, and these forests cover mostly the southern slopes of the Himalayas, having high altitude in the southern and northeast India. So as I told you, these temperate coniferous forests are found in the southern Himalayas. So you can see here, and same little bit in the northeast of India. At higher elevations, that is between 3000 to 3500, there are temperate grasslands. At a higher altitude, generally more than 3600 meters above sea level, temperate forest and grasslands give way to alpine vegetation. And the trees common here are silver fir, junipers, pine, birches. These are the common trees which are found here. And as we go up, the growth of the trees becomes stunted, and ultimately they are only shrubs and scrubs, and they merge into alpine grasslands. So children, here you see they are alpine grasslands. They are used by extensively for grazing by the nomad tribes like the Gujars and the Bakarwals. And at more higher altitudes, we have only mosses and lichens which form the tundra vegetation. As we go higher up, we'll find the trees become stunted in growth. There'll be only shrubs and scrubs, and then will merge into alpine grasslands. And if we further go up, at higher altitudes, we'll have the tundra vegetation, where there'll be only mosses and lichens growing. The most common animals that are found in these forests are Kashmir stag, spotted deer, wild sheep, jackrabbit, Tibetan antelope, yak, the snow leopard, shaggy horn, wild ibex, bear, and rare red panda. Now children, what is tree line? You know what is tree line? Trees grow all over the world in many different types of weathers, but above certain elevation, above a certain height, trees just cannot grow. Think of it like someone draws a horizontal line. You can see the line is drawn with dotted here on a mountain side. Above that, there are no trees. There will be no vegetation. This is an imaginary line on the earth, and it is called the timber line or the tree line. After this line, that is the edge of the habitat, after which there is no vegetation. Only covered with snow. In India, the tree line starts from 4,400 meters. Now let us look into the characteristics of the mangrove forest. The rivers travel through the country and empty out into the sea, and these river water is not salty, but the ocean water is salty. So which kind of plants will survive in such places? And as you know, the coastal areas, there are tides, and so sometimes there is more water, sometimes there is less water. So which plants will survive in such areas? Now in such areas we find mangrove trees whose roots are submerged under water, and the roots are held together by the mud and the silt that is brought in by the tides. Now the mangrove forests are found on the coastal areas, mainly in the deltas of the Ganga. You can see the delta of Ganga, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. They are covered by mangrove forest. Now children, in the Ganga and Brahmaputra delta, you can see here where both the rivers are meeting, there we find Sundari trees are found, which provide durable hard timber. Now some of the other trees that are found in the mangrove forest are the coconut, the palm, the kyora and agar, and they grow in some parts of these deltas. The animals found in these forests are the Royal Bengal tiger, which is one of the famous animals in this forest. Then there are turtles, crocodiles, gharials and snakes. Now this is taken right from your textbook regarding medicinal plants. This is for your knowledge. India is known for its herbs and spices right from the ancient times. Some 2000 plants have been described in the Ayurveda, and at least 500 are in regular use. The World Conservation Union's Red List has named 352 medicinal plants, of which 52 are critically threatened and 49 endangered. And the common plants that are used in India for various kinds of diseases, you have Sarpagandha, Jamun, Arjun, Babool, Neem, Tulsi, Kachnar. Okay, so these are commonly seen in India. So children, with this we come to an end of the second part of this chapter, and very soon I'll be coming up with the third part with which we will conclude the chapter. Till then, do view and subscribe. Thank you.